AITA. Shunning my stepmother. TW abuse. Okay, so this is complicated and will get a bit ranty because this is really fresh and I have some strong feelings about the whole situation. Hence this post in here. So, in 2013 my mum passed away at 36, and a couple years later my dad remarried to a new woman we will call Karen, pun intended. We quickly moved out into the suburb she was living in because her daughter was in year 11 and was about to finish school, so it was the better option. So me and my sister were pulled out of the school we have only just settled into as we had only moved into the city a year before my mum passed. This was really hard for me and my sister as we found it really hard to fit into the new schools and begun to get bullied. All while this was happening at school our home life with Karen was okay. A year or so on from this we found out Karen was being treated for bipolar with medication and that she was going to be getting off her meds. And my sister were too young to even know what this was at the time, so we didn't pay much attention. Slowly Karen became extremely OCD and would constantly get into arguments out how me and my sister kept ourselves. We were forced into change our habits to fit around how she wanted us to be. We were criticized for the clothes we wore and the way we put our clothes into our wardrobe, to name a few things on how she treated us. This began to worsen when I started to stand up for myself and my sister and things became abusive and violent. Me and Karen would constantly argue and she would occasionally lose her it enough to physically push me. One time she pushed me over and my hand landed on a wall plug for a charger and the prongs went through the webbing of my hand. This continued for months. After finding a relationship with a girl I really liked at the time, we were arguing one time and she went to the place she worked in front of the whole store said how horrible I am and how she needs to break up with me. Obviously she did break up with me. This was incredibly embarrassing. I ended up buying my first car around this time off a neighbor for $500. I spent a lot of time on this car as I was heavily into mechanics. One night me and her were arguing and she was particularly angry and was smashing photos off the walls and destroyed my dad's and her phone by throwing them into a wall. I was over it, so I stormed out of the house and went into my car to drive off. She chased me out all the way to the car with my dad behind her and she was trying to grab the keys from me as I was trying to start the car and I pulled them from her hands and she screamed, turned around and punched my dad in the face for not helping her. I drove off as fast as I could before I stopped the car and broke down. I called the cops on her. I returned back to the house to meet the cops there, but somehow before they arrived my dad convinced me to not say anything to the cops. I wish I pressed charges on her right there and then, but IDK. Soon after this I snuck out one night and ran away with my car. I was homeless for about a year. Pretty much F.C. Ed my life in this stage as well. D.G.S. Bad relationships etc. In that time Karen directed her abuse towards my sister and a very similar thing happened to her. But she admitted herself into a mental ward. She received emergency housing. This was good, but she was destroyed by the things Karen did to her. Some time passed and Karen and my dad were trying to convince me that I had to apologize to them for calling the police to even have the chance to talk them or be a part of my dad's life. So I ended up finding a really nice girl and we both helped each other find our way back on track. We started our family with our first child. And things had been good. All the meanwhile Karen was in my ear about how much she needed to be a part of me and my child's like cause that's her granddaughter. I was not having this at all and started telling my dad how much I was starting to resent her for all things she had done to me and my sister. This Christmas, after she had been on my back about coming to Christmas lunch, my rage boiled over and I sent her a lengthy text basically saying she ruined me and my sister's chance at ever getting a good start in life and that she has taken our dad away from us. She did not take this well. And has been basically abusing my dad over this, and now I don't even get to speak to him cause she won't let him. My dad loves me and my sister. I think he has gone through some serious trauma himself and he just wants to be with someone. TBH has started out with me wanting to ask if I'm the A.S.O.E. for sending that message, but I'm really not. I think I am just twisted from all the S.IT I'm hearing from her and my dad, and I'm just trying to make things work out. I just want my family back. This took me too long to write, so I'm just going to post. Thanks for reading.